As most of you know, there is a vocation balancing coming up to Tibia. A test server has been opening every couple of days to try out the new balancing adjustments made by Cipsoft. Some changes have been controversial, while others have been very welcomed by the community. There are many questions that have been made about how the vocations will end up when the test server is over. On first sight, the rework on the Utito Tempo spell makes it look like a massive nerf to knights. Sorcerers look like they don't have enough changes and additions that convince their main players, while Druids have received some cool spells and can be considered buffed if we ignore the Utamo changes. And Paladins seem to be the new gods of Tibia, since their only nerf was decreasing the power of the sharpshooter spell, but have received numerous buffs and features. Before discussing the changes and how this will end up affecting the game, I want to point out that this test server is not like the typical ones we see every summer and winter update. It is treated as a different update, and we can tell how they have been collecting feedback in a different way as well. They are letting testers to go in the test servers for a day or two so they can provide feedback on the forums, and as soon as they have enough information, they shut down the servers to discuss internally which changes are going to be made. Then they make these changes and reopen the servers so the testers can do the same thing again. Knowing this, we can expect Cipsoft to do this numerous times until they find a balance they believe it's healthy for the vocations and the game. They are relying on our feedback to modify stuff, but they clearly have a vision and a goal to fulfill. It is worrisome to see how bad a vocation can perform when Cipsoft tweaks a spell or a mechanic in a bad way or with wrong values, and this shows how delicate vocation balancing is. We have to understand that it will take some adjustments to see the balance coming up to an optimal point. Cipsoft's approach on latest test servers also makes us think we will see a better balance later on. They have been releasing content whose performance is terrible in their first versions and then tweak them on the last days of test servers to put them more in line with what is considered balanced. So hope is not lost. We will surely see more changes coming up for all vocations. Things can still change drastically if Cipsoft considers it's necessary to achieve balance in the game. The only way to help them achieve this balance is to provide feedback in the test forums, if you have been invited of course. And then they are the ones who decide what gets changed. So far, Knights look like the worst vocation to play. Blood Rage, a spell that has become essential for Knights, has received a massive debuff of 20% more damage towards you while the spell is active. If this change stays in the game, it would make current hunts a real challenge for those Knights who want to keep up dealing damage as before. The new healing spell for Knights is meant to help you cover this weakness, but so far these changes are not so convincing and it would put Knights on a really bad position overall. The new range exit arrest spell is a great addition for Knights, but even then, this spell is not exempt of flaws. It doesn't have any effect on boss rooms, for example, making you feel like the spell is just not useful when you need it the most. Also, Knights are now able to use strong mana potions, which is certainly a buff, but they barely help to mitigate these nerfs. And the reworked Utamo Tempo is certainly a good thing to have, but in reality this will be used only in specific situations since you're not able to attack while the spell is active. Sorcerers have received a few new spells, but they haven't been too convincing overall as the community still feels Druids can dice out more damage than them. Also, the magic shield changes impacts the vocation in a negative way. Sorcerers and Druids are not able to use energy ring anymore and now have a potion that works as a new magic shield, where a portion of your mana is taken as the magic shield instead of the full mana. This has made Sorcerer mains feel like their vocation is the weakest of all since they don't have anything that makes them indispensable in hunts. Druids have received new healing spells and have had changes on their existing spells to make them spend less mana. This is a change aimed to lower the height waste Druids used to have when team hunting. This and the magic shield changes that affects them the same way as Sorcerers are the only changes they have received. It looks like they remain in a good position despite the magic shield changes since nothing important has been nerfed. Paladins have gotten the best of this balancing. They have received a quiver, a new container that you can equip in the shield slot where you can carry arrows. Diamond arrows and spectral bolts can now be bought at NPCs. They even have a new spell that forces ranged creatures to go melee. Also, the ability to imbue elemental damage on their weapons is also available. The ability to use great mana potions is another plus, and the only nerf has been a reduction of 10% in the skill bonus of the sharpshooter spell. This puts an already good vocation, the best considered by many, another step ahead of every other vocation. There are some other changes made that aim to the quality of the gameplay, but besides that, overall, we can see there is still a huge imbalance in the test servers and Cipsoft has to work on it. Personally, I believe most of the ideas they want to implement are great, but the numbers are just not good yet. We will see more changes in the next days or weeks where ideally everything comes into shape and we get to see a better balance of vocations where each one of them can perform well on solo and team hunts without one of them being more relevant than the other. So don't lose hope. Sit tight and wait for the next changes and test them. Things might look terrible, but a couple of tweaks can make a bad vocation into a good one. So, which vocation do you think is going to be the best after these changes and which one is going to be the worst? I will be reading the comments to see what you guys think. And that's it for now. Winter update is coming soon, so expect more videos and subscribe to not miss them. Take care guys and see you in the next video.